Our guest on the pod today is Eric Pierce. The Oceanside, California native has just begun his overseas career after recently graduating from Bellevue University. He joins us from Iraq to talk about the beginnings of his overseas career. There's a lot to get into with him. So without further ado, welcome to the pod, Eric.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
So we actually talked a little bit off the pod. We want to get into your transition period between college and pro because there's a lot there that we can talk about. But you kind of have an interesting career where you transferred in from Fresno Community College, Lethbridge, wind up finishing up at Bellevue University, and we talked a little bit off the pod about being an NAIA player and kind of the difficulty that can be getting started professionally. If you could kind of take us through exactly what those difficulties were. Because one of the questions that we kind of struggle with some of our guests is like, not like when you wanted to play professionally play professionally, but like when you actually tangibly thought to myself, okay, I'm going to do this now. Like, it's not my dream. It's like my actual, like, it's my career now. So what did that look like for you? And what were some of the struggles coming out of an NAIA school?
Yeah, so well, first I was at El Camino High School in Oceanside. Then I had graduated from there, went to Fresno Community College, did 2 years there. I had some pretty good offers out of there at Gonzaga, Drexel, Pepperdine, Fresno State, like a lot of pretty good D1s, and like probably like every D2 in Cali for sure. And then like, yeah, a lot of NAIAs. But then what happened? And then we didn't make it too far in the Final Four in Fresno City. And then I was messing up in practice or whatnot. I was just really young. I was like 17 when I first got in, and then I kind of let it get to my head a little bit. And so I wasn't playing the best. And then after the 2 years, I took an official visit to Drexel out in New York. In Philadelphia. And it just wasn't. I think I was just too young, like way too young. Everything was just coming too fast. So then I ended up going to Canada for a year. Did that. It was fun. It definitely was a good experience. First time in snow, so that was good. Pretty unique. And then after Canada, we went to took that year off because of COVID. I was telling you, and I really know what to do. So then I went out to Bellevue University where my boy ended up coaching. So I went and did that for 2 years. I was only supposed to do 1 year, but because of COVID, I got that year free. So I was able to play like the end of the season. So that was pretty good. And then I got really good film my senior year. And then I wasn't really too sure what to do afterwards, but my girlfriend's brother ended up playing pro, and he knew a lot of people, and then I knew a lot of people as well. So then my coach had told me what to do, basically just like ask pro players on what they did. So that's what I really did, and they told me what agent's good and what's not to do. And yeah, so I really happened, found my agent, and got to
But despite that, though, it sounds like there were some struggles in terms of running into some scams.
Good,
so it is good. And that's one of the common themes that we've heard from people before. Sometimes it's not, like what or like how good you are. Sometimes it's just like a normal career type thing. It's who you know. So it's fortunate that you had a lot of people that you could lean on. But as we were talking off the pod, there were some scams that were being run and that you've run into. So even with, people that know what's going on, if you could kind of take us through a little bit like what the scams were that you ran into and that you could pass along to others not to fall for, basically.
Yeah, then we started getting a whole bunch of letters after my senior year about coming to camps and stuff. And then everybody was telling me the camps, don't do it. It's a waste of money because it's basically $400 for like 2 days with supposedly a lot of coaches a lot of overseas coaches and scouts coming. But it just didn't really seem too professional because it's like 100 players and 4 scouts. I wasn't really into that. And then my boy actually ended up going to a camp at UNLV. And then he only went that first day because it was just so bad. And it was just like, man, imagine if I would have done that, spent like almost $500 just to go to that camp. So, but then after the camp, I ended up finding a good agent. And then, it was his first year, so I guess. But then he ended up finding me a contract. I thought I was supposed to go play in the NBL in Australia. Yeah, so then I signed the contract, took pictures, everything. I was on Instagram flexing it, thought it was like a real official, and then took pictures, everything. My girlfriend was there, my whole family was happy. It was really bad. And then my girlfriend's brother ended up looking over the contract. He was like, this doesn't seem too like legit because you're not supposed to pay for anything. So that's like the number one clue. You're not supposed to pay for your visa. Like you're not supposed to pay for anything. Your flight there, your stay, they're supposed to pay for anything because they want you. So they're going to pay for you basically. So then he was like, yeah, that's weird. You're not supposed to pay for your visa. Then I called my agent. My agent's calling the coach. That's not even the coach. He stops responding because they ended up asking for like 1,600. I was like, well, that's weird. And he was even like, yeah, that's weird. So he's calling them. They're not answering. It was like, then they just never heard from them again.
We have merch. Head over to the Expat Hoop Store where you'll find t-shirts, hoodies, masks, coffee mugs, pint glasses, and more.
It's one of many ways you can show support for the podcast, so head over there and pick up some merch. That link below is in the video description, or you can head over to our website, expathoops.com, and click merch. We offer a couple of different Expat Hoops logos, and we have men's, women's, and kids sizes, so you can get something for everyone.
Thanks to SeatGeek for sponsoring Expat Hoops. We recently became a brand ambassador for them. SeatGeek is a ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. They offer a 0 to 10 score on each ticket to know if you're getting a good or a bad deal. Green means good, red means bad. You get the idea. It's a really easy way to get tickets to events. Plus, our viewers get $20 off their first ticket purchase with the Expat Hoops code. Click the link in the description to download the app. Remember the code Expat Hoops, EXPATHOOPS, all one word, to save yourself $20 off your first ticket purchase with SeatGeek. Interesting about the scams. I mean, we've kind of heard about that a little bit on the pod, but have never really heard anything too specific. So hopefully, again, that's something that people that are considering going overseas, like you said, not only get to talk to people that have done it. Hopefully they'll be in your circle to guide you along the way, but also, if there's a video like this, that'll be helpful. Hopefully that's something that we can do to kind of offset some of the scams. But you did mention that you did get with a good agent. And so that's actually where we really kind of start getting into where you are today. You are in Iraq right now, but as we talked off the pod, you were originally signed to go play in Oman. If you would take us through getting your first professional deal with the club in Oman and essentially why you're not there today.
Yeah. So literally I signed, I was ready to go. I probably signed like 2 weeks early. So I was ready to go, everything all packed. And then the day before I'm supposed to leave, my agent from Italy, he hits me on the WhatsApp saying, don't go. Like it's something happened. But I'm literally like all packed, got my haircut ready to go, my airport outfit, I was all ready to go. And then he tells me, yeah, he's basically like, no, it's not real. You're not gonna, you signed, but something happened with the agent. So I'm just like, man, what is going on? And so I'm just like in my head about it. Like, was this even real in the first place? And then he hits me, he's like, we have another place for you to go. I was like, oh, I guess. And then I just signed to Iraq. Really didn't have no clue on it. I just wanted to play pro for my first time. So that's what I did. Yeah.
And so that's where you are today. You are now in Iraq. You're playing in Kirkuk, I believe.
Baghdad. Yeah.
Yeah. And so take us through not only what it's been like for you in your transition period, how long you've been over there. So like, what are things like off the court before we get into what league play is like?
Yeah, it's definitely more than a little bit. I mean, like as soon as I got off the plane, they're very cigarette heavy over there. So it was a lot of cigarettes over there. And then just the language barrier, I feel like that really, they speak Arabic over there. That really, I was really just on iTranslate a lot, but I had my translator too, but it was okay. It wasn't really the best, but off the court, it was good. I mean, I tried a lot of food. I tried to go to different places, try to learn the language a little bit, met a lot of different people, a lot of pictures. So it was cool. It was fun as far as off the court.
And so is that something that, off the court that you're, some of the people that you've met, have you been necessarily like leaning on your teammates that are Iraqi native or people that are like kind of close to the team?
Yeah, I was mainly close to the import, the other American. Because I went the second half of the season. There's 3 halves, so I went the second half of the season, and then he was already there before, so he already knew like a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the landscape, where to go, where to eat. Because like when I first got there, like the first week, I didn't know where to eat. Like I was just hitting my coach, like I don't know, because I couldn't read anything, obviously. So it was kind of a struggle between that. But because he didn't come for like the first 2 games, and then he ended up coming back, and then after that was pretty much good because he explained everything to me in English, so it was good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In our house, when we use a VPN, we are sure to use NordVPN. NordVPN secures up to 6 devices and is compatible with Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Android, iOS, and even your Wi-Fi router. Plus, it's no risk to your wallet. Head over to their website for pricing or contact customer support 24/7. And remember, your purchase is always safe with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Click the link in the video description to use our code and make sure you're secure with NordVPN.
So, that's off the court. And it sounds like you were able to get acclimated pretty quickly, due to the help of a teammate and, friends once you were getting over there. But what's been your experience been like on the basketball court, getting to be in Iraq's top league as compared to what you've seen in college stateside?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more physical, and it's FIBA rules out there, so it's super fast. It's 24-second shot clock, so it was just super fast. I was coming from a 30-second shot clock in the States, so I wasn't used to the speed. So it probably took me like a good week and a half to get like physically and conditioning ready. So that was a big adjustment, just how quick it was going. But besides that, yeah, it was super physical and just the speed. It's probably about it. Yeah.
And so, so far, any season highlights that you've got, that are any notable games that you essentially are like, that's one of my best games as a professional so far?
I'll definitely say my first game, just because, just the first game, just because you get all the jitters out and just made my first pro bucket, everything like that. Yeah, the first game, I think it was like a double-double. Yeah, I think it was like 13 and 10. I was just happy to be playing professional basketball. So definitely is a highlight. First game ever professionally. Definitely enjoyed that. And then probably, yeah, the crowds out there, they have drums, like they're crazy. It definitely is an experience out there. They just get rowdy. You can't even hear people or anything. It's just, yeah, definitely an intense environment. And plus, I don't know the language, so I don't know what they're saying. So everything just sounds crazy. I'm just like, what's going on? But definitely good. But everyone just smiling, like giving me thumbs up and stuff. So it's good.
And so what would you say like typical turnout is like at a game? Obviously, like the crowd, the drums and everything is probably a different environment, but in terms of who shows up to play and the fan level of support from place to place, is what would you say that's kind of like?
Yeah, so we play in 2 places. We play in Baghdad and Kirkuk, and then Kirkuk is like our home gym or whatever, and then Baghdad is where like a lot of the other games are played. So then Kirkuk is like a little smaller, so it's not that much stand. So it just goes up, and then it's just the court. And so that gym gets like rocking pretty good just because it's so small, and then all the drum sets, everybody's going crazy. And there's not really, I think that's like the only team out there really in Kirkuk. So there definitely gets a lot of the home crowd. But then Baghdad is like bigger stadium. Like it's really nice out there. They have sets of stairs on both sides. Yeah, it's a pretty good stadium. It's always a pretty good turnout there. But I would say like the most surprising thing is there's like a lot of stray animals. So like there'll be like birds flying in the ceiling, cats and dog. Like I've never seen like a stray cat like just while the game's being played, just walking around. Like that really like shook me a little bit. A lot of stray animals.
This is another question. I'm not sure what the answer to this will be, but you mentioned when you got off the plane that it's a very cigarette heavy country. Is it something that also people are smoking during your games?
Yes.
How did I know to ask that question?
Yes, like really bad. Like not even like just the pins, like an actual cigarette. I'm like, wow, like in the gym too. So it's like, yeah, I don't really want to say like, well, I guess it's not bad, but like even like some of the teammates and like coaches, like I'm like, wow, like this is a different country for sure. Like this is third world.
The funny thing is, it's probably not that long ago over here that was the case, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
it's the same, yeah.
it's like that still over there, so that's still kind of funny.
Really bad. Like, even kids, I'm like, wow, this is different.
So it's definitely been an interesting first year for you, and I know that this is probably more of a conversation that you're likely to have with your agency, going into the next year about specifics. But we'll just get to have the fun of it, talking broadly, ambiguously. What are your career goals? Because as we were talking a little bit off the pod, and I think you might have mentioned earlier on that there was a certain point where you kind of were taking this seriously. So being a little bit more career oriented about it now, what are your career goals now? You're in year one. Where are you looking to go next year if you could control your destiny, so to speak?
I just really just want to keep playing basketball. Really, everybody just says go to either Euro League or try the J League. I just really want to just play basketball, make a living out of it. That's all I've been doing probably like the past basically my whole life, but basically like the past 5 years, strictly just basketball. So I really just got used to having a routine, working out. So I just want to keep that up and just really go as far as I can.
Well, we wish you continued success. I'm sure that there'll probably be more interesting stories along the way, and look forward to a date where we might be able to have you back on the pod when your career is a little bit more, there's a little bit more behind you. But we got a couple things that we want to ask you in Expat Extras. Do you mind sticking around and doing a few of those?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great. Well, thank you again so much for joining us on the regular portion of the pod. For the audio listeners, if you would, please go over to our YouTube page, check out not only you can check out all our past interviews there on YouTube, but also all the Expat Extras that we have done so far and that the ones we will be doing with Eric. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll get into the Expat Extras soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Hello, and thanks for watching. Be sure to give the video a like, and you can watch more videos over here. You can also click subscribe over here so you're notified when we have new content here on Expat Hoops.